Monty Brown is off the TNA website, but talks are not completely off between Brown and TNA.
I have a feeling they're going to bring it back.
Yeah? You didn't read the next news, though?
No, in my mind, I think TNA's really going to lock him down, you know? It's just a Garcia scenario. Everyone thinks he's jumping, but I think he'll get locked down.
Yeah, he was backstage at Raw, but that just made TNA realize they want him even more.
Yeah, that just means they'd, pedal to the metal.
WWE announced the signing of former TNA headliner Monty Brown.
I'm still holding out hope.
WWE.com featured an interview with Monty Brown following his signing in the company. Brown's lengthy run in TNA is never mentioned in the article.
I mean, what are they going to mention? He loses to this guy, loses to that guy, got beat up by it. I was like, what the fuck?
Brown said his 2 goals in life were to become a pro football player and to wrestle in WWE. Not become a pro wrestler, wrestle in WWE.
It's probably right.
Like when he was growing up and he had like the photo or the poster of somebody on his wall. He had a wrestler poster. Was it Sting?
I was going to say it has to be Warrior, right?
It feels like Warrior. He was probably thinking, I'm going to be a WWE wrestler. You are right. He probably saw like Lawrence Taylor and was like, by God, I can do both.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. It's especially in that era. That's the era where everyone is like a WWE guy.
As opposed to now.
Well, like, at least now you got fucking Arez saying, TK, shit, I'll get off the pot. I want to go here instead of the other ways. There are people now that are like getting into the business who are like, have a distinct other view of what they want to do.
The article focuses on Brown's NFL career as his athletic background before coming to WWE. A quote from Monty from that article: coming to WWE is a definite blessing and a privilege to come work for the Mecca of all Meccas, which is a shot at real Mecca. I'm just anxious to start. I'm looking forward to getting in the mix and being part of the WWE family. So Monty is done.
And if you want to relive your time with Monty Brown, let me remind you, there's a wonderful video on the TNA Wrestling YouTube channel called Every Monty Brown Pounce in TNA History.
Which I did build using the show notes from this podcast. So you know what? Synergy.
So a watch of that video is a watch for us.
That's true. And a watch for Monty Brown.
I would do a remember when, but God, it's hard at this point, It's fucking hard. Let's just talk about Monty Brown for a moment.
And I can't remember if we did it or not on the last episode where we would have at his last appearance. We might have.
Yeah. So Monty Brown, the quintessential pro wrestling what if, I imagine. Someone who, despite never quite hitting the levels that anyone would have hoped for him, has managed to worm his way into the pro wrestling zeitgeist in a way that is genuinely impressive.
Yeah.
There's a lot about Monty that is sort of... It is sad,
Mm-hmm.
This is a guy that you would have hoped would have been like a giant deal, or at the very least, if he was going to have his washout career at WWE, did sort of reach the levels that you would have hoped for him in TNA. Like Chris Harris is sad, right? And it's like, damn, he didn't do anything in WWE. But like when you go back on it, like at least the AMW stuff is there and it rules and it's awesome and it's successful. And it's like with Monty, you don't even really have that. Like, the quintessential Monty Brown thing is just, he is great at squash matches, he's a crazy promo guy, and he's, unfortunately, just a giant what if.
Yeah, you only ever saw the sparks of what Monty could be, rather than, like, the actual lighting of that fuse. And as you said, like, it is really impressive that, like, this is a guy who was on TV for 2 years, nearly 20 years ago, and he's still a guy people are like, fucking Monty Brown was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
There's very few people you can say, like, no one does that for fucking Mordecai, Yeah. People might remember Mordecai, but they're not like, holy shit, well, remember Mordecai? It's like, oh, remember Mordecai? There's very few people who weren't top guys, who only had a handful of main events, most of which were just like jobber to the stars, a challenger of the month kind of things, and is remembered that fondly, and the people are that desperate for him to do one more appearance. Because like, he is my holy grail appearance. He is my AJ Lee. He is my CM Punk. Like Monty has been for a long time, and I don't need him to do anything other than come out, do 1 pounce, hit his pose, and leave. Do one promo as well, because listen, it wouldn't be the same without him calling somebody a hippofant. That's all I want. I don't need a run. I don't need him to come back. I don't need him to win a belt. I just want 1 more pounce for the road.
So hopefully we can make that happen.
Tony.
If there's one guy. But yeah, Monty Brown, we've talked about him a lot. It is sad to see him go, but at least we had him, At least he was there.
And it was not for lack of trying on my part. It needs to be known. Anytime there was like a fucking 20-year anniversary show or an Impact 1000, I would be like, hey, Monty? What about Monty?
Monty? Give me. But so hopefully we will see it. It's at least now in the last sort of like 4 years where we hear from him a little bit, which is like better than the like absolute zeros, like anything before that.
Yeah, you could meet him at whatever the WrestleCon thing is called, the Starcast. There you go, Starcast. You could meet him around All In Weekend.
Yeah, so he's dipping his toe back in the wrestling world, and that's the least we can ask for. That's the most we can ask for.